3, 2. Hi, everyone.
Hello, guys. Welcome to Dojocast episode. What's the episode?
7.
7. Oh my gosh, we're at 7. That's insane. I could have sworn yesterday we were at like 3, but we're already at 7, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome.
What this means, though?
What does that mean?
We've officially gone on for longer than the original Dojocast.
Oh, let's go. A new personal record. We're gonna keep it going, and hopefully we'll have more episodes to come. But yeah, we are at Goku's house, chilling, swimming at the lake.
He's not home right now, so I thought we'd just plop it here.
I got my little floaties on. I mean, I know how to swim, but I just choose not to.
He wants to relax.
Yeah, if he wasn't gonna stand up for the last episode, he's definitely not gonna be treading water for this one. You know what I mean?
But he is more vertical than usual, I will say.
That is true. He is slightly,
Yes.
yeah.
Thank you for noticing that.
He's buoyant, but not completely 100% buoyant.
Yeah, but yeah, my name is Hyun, and you guys know Stone and Hatena are two hosts.
Hello.
Hello.
And we have an old friend coming back from the dead.
How's it going, guys?
Nhazul in the house, everyone, floating on the cloud with us. What's up, man?
Good to be here. Good to be here.
This is crazy. I think this is the first time I'm actually like talking to you with
so.
voices.
I don't remember like actually talking to you. Yeah, I've talked to Stone, probably the most out of all you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've chatted in IRC before back in the day, but yeah, this is a whole new generation.
I've always been a little on the I've always been a little on the fringe of the community, like so. I mean, I probably interacted the most during like Flute Anims and Stick Age, but it's been a while. So
yeah,
it has been a long while, and it's crazy because you still have a lot of fans and people that remember you and your animations. So
yeah, it's crazy. Every time I come back,
go ahead.
Notice that it's cool. So
yeah, we're all excited to have you, man. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
Hyun's really committed to the bit. He's really committed to the bit, and
It's
just like
kind of funny.
yeah.
Dude, I've been coughing for so long, so I'm so sorry if I do cough, guys. But let's try to hold it down and get this episode started.
Yeah, this is a little weird to me though, because I when I was joining the community in like late 2015, I was like studying a lot of your work, Nhazul. So it's a little surreal
really?
to finally be here and talking to you. But I never heard your voice before, and all that I had to base it off of was around when I first started talking to Shuriken, he told me that I sounded exactly like you, which I'm not sure if that's quite accurate. But
I mean,
it might be close. I don't really. Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
Maybe.
They do.
A little bit.
It's hard because like when I hear myself, it's super weird. But when I hear you, it's like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Well, So I've heard you always hear yourself differently than how everyone else hears you. Like if you ever take a recording of your voice and then you hear it back, you're like, that's what I sound like. So I don't know.
Right.
I honestly thought he always would sound like a series of Dragon Ball Z sound effects, and he would just talk almost like a Pokemon through DBZ sound effects and hit combos. But no, he does real words. It's crazy.
Real words, man. Like really high. I did a couple animations back in the day with like really high pitched stick characters. Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Guys, I have something kind of funny that happened to me lately. So I'm in the second floor of my house. It's where my office is located, and I'm in Colorado, and it's been getting really hot over here lately. And I don't know why or how this happened, but my blinds started to melt on my window. They're made of wood, and they are just completely warping. So like on one side they look completely fine except for how they're warping, but then I flip it to the other side. You can like pull one of the strings if you guys have those kinds of blinds. Yeah. And the other side it's like charred. It's been that hot.
Wait, so it's
fire hazard, man.
Yeah,
I know. I'm like,
melt. They were burning.
Apparently, yeah. No,
it's a sunny state for sure, though, isn't it? Like one of the sunniest states in America. I get over there quite a bit.
Well, it's also a really dry state. Is another contributor to that. But no, that was a little shocking. So I am going to be replacing them with curtains soon because I don't like that.
Yeah, make sure it's like fireproof too.
Yeah, like made it of like tissue paper and kindling.
Yeah. I'll make sure it's out of a flammable material for sure.
Yeah, you gotta make sure. Yeah, okay. Were those blinds old though? Was it like maybe there was a car that was parked at a certain angle at a certain time of day, and the sun just magnified against it or something?
You know what? If I can be honest, I think I know exactly what happened, and it's entirely my fault. I just don't want to admit it. I like to play Lethal Company a lot. That has been a big game for me and a bunch of my friends. And we started playing in the day sometimes. Usually I wait till the night. But so much light comes in through the window. That's a problem. So I put a blanket in front of the window, which pretty much insulated all of that heat onto the blinds. And then once I took it off, it was worse. It's not my fault. I just wanted to phrase it as if it just happened.
Wow! Spontaneous combustion of my blinds. I did light a fire underneath them. I think that's unrelated. But
it's probably not my fault, but you know, that did happen. It just, you know, it's just...
Nah, it was me, dude. It was me with the little magnifying glass burning you down. I hate you.
Damn, man. I'm sorry. What'd I ever do to you, man?
So we didn't have any announcements specifically for this week, right?
No community announcements, so we can just go straight into just talking about some stuff.
Okay. Well, the first topic up today, I think this is the biggest topic that a lot of people want to know, is Nhazul, what have you been up to recently? Obviously, you were out of animating for a while, and we saw that post on Twitter, and it looks like you're getting back to shape, back to form for a little bit. Do you want to tell us a little bit about maybe what you've been up to since you've been gone or out of the scene?
Yeah, man. I seem to like get the animation itch every few years. You know, like I'll come back and make a few. Like I think 2 years ago, I had a month-long streak where I was making little shorts for Twitter. But yeah, I was out in Seattle for 8 years. You know, my wife went to grad school, and I'll pull it back a little bit. I went to school for graphic design, so I just got associates in graphic design. I kind of went right into the workforce. Did graphic design for, probably like 15 years now. So that's always kind of been my full-time gig, I would say. When I was in college, I think that's kind of when let's see. I'm trying to think of what year that was. What year I made. Anyways, yeah. So I've been doing that. Right now, I'm a marketing manager for a company out of Seattle. I'm actually stationed in the West, but I work from home. So like I get to do like web development, e-commerce, graphic design, a little bit of everything, email marketing, SEO stuff. Do a little bit of everything. Yeah, dude, I've been doing this for a long time. So probably a decade now for marketing side of thing.
Are you still doing that now?
Yeah, that's what I currently do. Yep, and I work from home. I got 2 kids right now, so 4-year-old.
2 kids.
I'm busy, dude. I'm busy.
He's busy, dude.
I was saying, man, like we're all boomers now. It's crazy.
Yeah, I was putting my kid down like 30 minutes before this, you know. So, but as far as animation, you know, like I get the itch every few years. I'm like, I feel like I need to get back into it, and I did a couple years ago, and then recently Stone. You know, I've been talking to Stone pretty closely off and on for the last few years. He was getting back. I'm like, no way, dude. Like, it just seemed weird because like I was kind of feeling it again, and so and it's hard to say I'm back. Like, am I back animating full time? I don't know. Like, but I only have a few hours a night to dedicate, so that you know, and I play video games too, so that's my downtime.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I try to animate in that downtime as well. So I usually get an hour or 2. But yeah, man, it's been fun. I have at least 3 or 4 old projects that I would like to revive. That pain me that they should have been out a decade ago. Like, you know, because they're like pretty long and they just sit around. It kind of pains me to think about that.
Those too.
Yeah, for sure, right? And I think the first time I abandoned a big project was because I was getting desync issues, and I just like I was so
Oh.
I was like,
Desync
dude,
issues. Yes.
It's so
Wait,
depressing.
and I was
what
like,
what program are you using right now?
I'm in Animate. I have some projects in Flash 8. I have some
Yes.
in CS4.
I
mean, I
believe
have MX too, but that's old stuff. So
yeah, I believe the desyncing is a Flash problem. So once you transfer to Animate, it could fix it. So we'll see.
really,
Yeah, I think they
so
fixed it.
I'd probably just have to rebuild the VCam or something. Or
Oh yeah. There's a new
Well,
VCam that you can get.
I do have the new VCam. I do, but I just think, okay, that's interesting. I'll have to look into that. I didn't know that. Like, it's like 2 or 3 minutes, it just desyncs the sound. Everything gets off, and I was like, dude,
Yep.
this.
Mhm.
And I
Do you remember the
tried
fix?
everything back in the day. I tried the fix, man. Like
The-
streaming
where you put
it, doing
the-
all.
Well, dude,
Man.
the dumbest fix that we found was that you take a sound that is essentially a muted sound, like the very beginning of a sound wave, and
Yeah.
I think it was you set it to stream right where every like a few hundred frames or whatever, or if you go into another scene, and you put it the first frame of your new scene, and it'll resync it based off of where that empty, dead, singular frame is.
Really?
So stupid. I don't know how we figured it
Dude.
out, but it was like
How
compiling.
long
I
ago
think-
was that? Because like
Oh,
I was,
like a
like,
decade. Like it was
Okay,
forever,
that's-
dude. But it was
that's
like
around
only
when
like
I was asking, like probably 10.
No,
11
no,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
a modern fix. There's a modern fix is setting your frame rate to 23.97. That fixes syncing as
Oh,
well.
that's right too. Yeah, and that's the new
Way.
default, right? I think that's the new default.
I think so. I'm not sure though. But
Dude, I'll have to hit you guys up this week.
yeah, dude,
Yeah.
please. That'd be sick.
I do have the Shuriken VCam.
Yeah,
Let's
I-
go.
killer.
Let's go. The best
I
VCam.
talked to him when I was back a couple years ago animating a bit. I was talking with him. He hooked me up with the thing. So
That's so cool. That's so cool. You guys are like still, keeping tabs on each other. Still
Yep.
talking to each
Cute,
other
one
after all
would
these
say.
years. Yeah.
here and there, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
that's a perfect segue because like our next thing was like, what was it like being in Zetabrand, and what's like the relationship between the members then and today?
Yeah. I mean, so I went to my animation history is like I went to the same high school as Tension, and so we were kind of best buds growing up.
That's so cool.
I think we had this game maker studio. Like, dude, this is like 2002. I don't even know, dude. It's like I was young.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was probably 2000. I'm gonna get the date because I have a flash folder from 2003. Okay.
Let's go.
That's such a long time.
That's what
Yeah,
I'm talking about.
Anyways, we had this like game maker studio that had like a little sprite. You can make your game sprites in it, and so we started like animating in that, and it was just like this little, I don't know, man. It was like super not. I didn't even know if we knew how to export.
Right.
And then we joined a community called Video Game C or something. It was like Randy Solom's. He did all the really popular like Mario in the early 2000s, Mario animations like Kingdom. And so I was really into
wow.
sprites. And then I started doing my own sprite sheets and doing animation that way. I remember literally like using MS Paint to like
Yeah.
do every single frame of a complex animation with sprites and then saving each as a PNG and uploading them into Flash because I didn't know
Oh,
how to use
wow.
Flash at that time. And so
Yeah.
I'd have like 300 PNGs saved to a folder. I mean, this is way back before I knew anything,
Yeah, it was rough back then, dude. Like the programs were so bad, but like
Yeah,
we still
yeah.
found out janky ways how to make some
Right.
animation.
I don't know what was the first version you used, Stone? Like MX before
I
that?
think it was. I think I used the first version was Flash MX that I used because I think it went Flash MX, Flash MX 2004, and then it went Flash A. I think it was Flash MX. I don't know if I touched anything older than that or if I don't remember what it was called before that. But I somehow remember liking Flash MX better than Flash MX 2004. But then Flash 8 was like a gift. It was such a huge monumental step up.
Watch it.
That was so money.
There's still a lot of people that use Flash 8 to this day.
Mhm.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but like I started watching like stick figure Death Theater back in the day, right? Like then like Xiao Xiao and stuff, and I got into that, and then Fluid Animals next, and Stick Vision.
Mm-hmm.
When was like the first the formulation of the whole Zetabrand group? You know.
And so that was, yeah, that would have been stick page, right? Like I talked to Tension, like
Mhm.
started, you know, like we were getting into like the whole RHG clan thing, and so, and we had like a comic called Zetabrand, I think, before RHG.
Oh, really?
So we
What
kind of,
the
it was
heck?
like,
Oh.
it wasn't a stick figure comic. It was like these like rugged soldiers, kind of like looking like Final Fantasy 7 style.
Mhm.
I do remember
and-
those drawings.
Yeah, and so we kind of translated that into a clan, and then yeah, the tryouts and stuff, or I guess, you know, the stick page like Zetabrand team thing. I was really passionate about it, and like I think I was in design school then, so I was like designing all this like these fun graphics for like the clan page on stick page. And then yeah, man, I don't even remember who the first member was. To be honest, I'd have to like look. But
I guess it was Tension.
well, yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, we kind of started together.
Right.
Yeah.
I might have been Ichimaru. I don't remember. Like that was a long time ago.
Right.
The Ichimaru, and he's actually based out of UK. He went into 3D animation. I've kept in touch with him every once in a while, every few years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we had like a group chat on Discord, like with Hix was in there, Shuriken. It was pretty
God,
inactive, but we've
Yeah.
touched base over the years, and yeah, it was. I think
Yeah,
Shibuya
dude.
was in there, but he's always been kind of the.
There's like some members that you don't know
Don't remember.
what they're doing now compared to some others.
Draco, yeah, he was one of the later members. Draco and Shuriken, but they do such sick stuff, or like, you know, Shuriken did, and then Draco just like really good. He really had the Zetabrand essence, man. Like you could tell he was a good artist with his animation and stuff.
Draco was so good. Like I still really love his animations.
Oh yeah, same here. Super anime, super good art, great.
Yeah.
Unique is that your group had such a distinctive style about everything that they were making. Like you could tell someone was in Zetabrand or wanted to be
Yeah.
just by looking at their anime. You didn't need to actually fundamentally know. You could just kind of could see it. There was a certain like almost unironically a brand to it, you know, like this like high impact long combo ignoring gravity.
Yeah,
very
for sure.
but very
I mean,
stylish, you know.
yeah, it's like I grew up watching anime and like stylish, like, you know, and like I've always loved games like Devil May Cry and Ninja Gaiden, like, you know, obviously Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that. And it's like we wanted to animate stuff that like you know, it's like I feel like there was a whole section of people who were like wanting to animate something really realistic with their sticks, like very realistic gravity, very like there was a whole, like I feel like way back in the day there was like a posse of people that wanted to like do that or like break the rules, right? And then there was a little in between, but I feel like, you know, like I wanted to animate to just like, you know, it helps if you have weight and like a good sense of, you know, like gravity and easing and all that stuff, but I love to see like what rules you can break, like with framing, like limited frame style. I love, like I focus on like cool poses. Like that's how I've always animated. Like, is the action pose cool? Because if it's not, then I don't care. Like, so you can animate like a cool pose to pose. You know, and some people animate like the heads and kind of bounce around. And like, I love the pose to pose style with limited frame and seeing what I can get away with.
Yeah, back then, like when I was animating with you back then, like my style and the way I animated was completely opposite of your style because
for sure.
I focused on like realism, like Jackie Chan movie combos, like making sure they're using like real life moves and stuff like that. So like when I saw your animations, I was like, how is this guy making animations that look so good but like it's just not realistic? It kind of blew my mind in a sense.
And it's like, I get that. Like I'm to this day, like I'm still not really good at like the intricate movements. Like for me, that's super, like animating's hard. Like every time I get in Flash, I'm like, this is hard. You know, like it doesn't ever feel easy to me. It always has, but it's really rewarding. But yeah, like as far as like, your movement and like, you know, Turquoise was always like, and Stone, honestly, dude, like you guys have been like it's so fluid, and like I've attempted that a couple times and it's been okay, but I just always default back to like my like how big of a movement can I get away with, you know, and like and making it powerful and like, but
at the same time, I think I learned a lot from seeing your stuff, because it kind of taught me that how to just add more power into my moves, because that was like one of my shortcomings.
Oh, right.
And I was like, dude, all you have to do is just punch him and then hold the frame for like 20 frames and shake the camera a bunch, dude, and like it's just free power, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I kind of came into that where I was like, you know, I obviously went overboard with it sometimes, where I'd like, okay, we got a big hit coming, let's like ease into it, let's make the big hit 20 frames, let's ease out of it, let's like, you know, we're just easing all over the place, and like but yeah, like it's been fun. And you know, there was, I think with growing up with tension, like we were always pushing each other, like and basically like bouncing off ideas, and so it's like he was always way more loose, and like he's more of a natural than me, honestly, like with animating. So like sometimes I felt too grounded in my animation. I'm like, man, I got to make this like more crazy, because like tension be like, he just works something up in no time, and it's just like insane movements, and like he gets away with a lot, and it's really cool. So, and I think there's a lot, you know, tensionized styles a lot different, but there are of course a lot of similarities as well.
Yeah, I feel like tension style is like, what is it? It's way more overboard when it comes to that kind of stuff. Like
for sure,
the amount of like holding the frame and shaking and like just really showing and emphasizing like the power of the moves.
Yeah, he's like my version on steroids. I came a little more grounded than him, like probably a little more towards the. Yeah, he does some sweet stuff.
But yeah, I actually preferred like kind of your animations a little bit more, because it had a little more finesse, like a little more like different combos that you tried, like, you know, with your character, and like the whole cross and like 5 swords that you can pull out and use.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun weapon. Really just thought it was cool. Like, you know, like there was, you know, like old anime Trigun, you know, Wolfwood had like a crossway, like, you know, or, you know, it's like, there's just different, I was also thinking of like Cloud, you know, Cloud has like a lot of swords, and I'm like, dude, it'd be sweet to have, I want to animate more weapons. How can I house them? And so I'm like, dude, let's put them in a huge cross. I mean, really not like a religious affiliation for me or anything. It's just like, I thought it was super cool. I know it's a big icon, but it's like,
right. It is cool.
It's fun.
You know, I think it's funny because your organic experimentation of what you felt to be more comfortable became so important today and for so many people, because I can't tell you how many people since I've come back, have brought up you guys and what you did, and you specifically, as far as looking at how to chain abilities together, kind of breaking free from that binding of like, oh, you need to be grounded by reality, you need to be weighed down by gravity, you can't just dash across the room really fast, like you can't just like punch. Like there's so many people that have now been able to blend kind of some of those grounded aspects with the things that you experimented because they were comfortable to you. And I can't tell you how many times like it's come up a lot. That was the reason why I really wanted to reach out to you, because I was like, dude, it is crazy the number of people that have been like, I studied Nhazul stuff over and over and over and over again, and I just loved, again, the poses like you just talked about, that having a really, really cool pose that stuck with a lot of people. Yeah,
that's crazy, man. Yeah, it's cool.
You know what my favorite pose is?
What's that?
It's the one where they finish a huge combo, right? And then they step back, and then they jump 2 times, and then they do that pose where they're like leaning all the way back, and the back is like breaking at like a 45 degree angle.
You know, I'm pretty sure that was like, have you played the Sega game Shinobi?
No,
like,
I haven't.
One of the coolest ninjas, man. Like, yeah, that game is sick. But yeah, I mean, it's a classic ninja pose, honestly. But yeah, it is a little comical. Like, I think in my older age, I'm like, it's a little silly, but you know what? It's also badass in like a kind of a campy way. I've always seen Nhazul as a little bit campy, like as a character, just like, and you guys did a perfect parody of it. Like, There's a little
Yeah,
bit.
the dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
good.
see, it's so good because there's a little bit about Zetabrand that it's so over the top that it's like, it's like you can't help but like want to parody it because it's really extreme stuff, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I
we
love
loved
that.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we loved it.
Well, that's like I mean, I guess this leads us to a question that I think is important. Why do you think certain characters or RSG characters have staying power over the years? Even if like, you've been away, but Nhazul has continued year after year after year with you even not even touching or animating it. Like what do you think are the components that makes a long-lasting iconic character like Nhazul?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I think I honestly I don't like obviously know, like it seems like a weird formula, but I think I did something different enough with my animation. And like he's like a unique character. He's a scarf and stuff. Like not all characters, like stick characters. Like for me, it's like if you just have a stick character, they just all kind of look the same. So I'm like, I need some kind of identifier. Me personally, I wanted that. It's like I'm gonna do a scarf, and then like Tension and I were talking about it at the same time. Like we're like, dude, that would suck to animate every single frame.
Yeah.
and like he's like, I don't know. And then I did it like as a test animation, and he's like, I think he did it in like an old one, but like it was pretty limited. But like I did like a full freestyle run animation with I don't think it's released anywhere. I still have it. My first scarf, and it's a double scarf, and it's really
A double scarf.
yeah, it's really fluid. It's pretty cool, and it's short, but it's just like I was like, dude, this is totally doable. Like it's really easy to animate a scarf, kind of. I mean, like you can have fun with it, like a tail. Like it just there's only so many movements it does. And it just follows the weight of your rotation, basically.
It just looks nice,
Yeah, and I've always, like I grew up with like the Animator's Survival Kit or whatever that book was called, and I'm like, it's a great secondary motion to the character, and it's like it just brings a whole nother aspect to it. So every time I animated without like the scarf with Nhazul, I'm like, man, it's just missing. Like I got to get that in there, and I think it gave it just enough flair to like. And and like I think he's been seen as like a cool character, so it's like I think a lot of people resonated with that or liked that, and so I don't know. I think because I didn't really release a ton of animations back in the day, but maybe just enough with my combo compilation videos.
It's so insane how important just that little decision that you guys made, because back then I don't think people can really grasp this now, but back then there wasn't. Stick figures were a lot, 99% of the time. There was no scarves. I mean, tails or something like that was extremely rare. There was no
really
it was not common
right?
at all.
RSG helped bring that, yeah.
And so, just this little like test that you did, however many years ago, I could tell you now that had a profound impact, because most I would say characters today have some form of secondary motion aspect to them, whether it is a scarf or a cape or a half shawl or a tail. And I honestly truly do believe it's directly correlated to what is now that test that you had and your discussion with Tension Maru about that, truly, because it does add such a wonderful element to have a secondary motion thing that's attached to your character for stick figures, and people absolutely love it, and it's just so funny how like that little tiny thing and the ripple effect that it's had over the years.
I've noticed that. Yeah, there's a lot of characters like different. Yeah, it's like we're adding more to characters, and it's cool, man. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, like I said, like you said, that secondary animation is like it brings a little bit more poetry to it. It's like it's kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think it's because like Oh, sorry, we're gonna say something like that.
You guys want to see something really embarrassing that's really on topic with that?
Yes.
Yeah. See.
Oh man, so I was very influenced by the whole Zetabrand style. I had my own character who had a scarf. He's essentially just a rip-off. I don't love it because looking back, I mean, this is pretty miserable.
There it is.
Nice.
There it is. That's where it all starts, man.
Yeah.
It's, Oh, it's not great.
It's so cool though. Like it honestly is so cool.
Dude, I love seeing any animation like that with like the scarves and stuff.
And the zoom ins, the pans, those are all like, again, these are things that are super normal and common now. But like back then, black bars coming in and zooming in on like the thing that's happening in a slow-mo, when that would happen, we're like, what? You can do that? What do you mean you can do that? You know, that wasn't a thing. Like,
I stole that too.
Yeah, there's this other animation that was released just 3 weeks ago by Lava Lamb Chops. I mean, they just animated your character. I'm pretty sure you saw this on Twitter.
Yeah, I reposted that. That was sick. Yeah.
I think it's insane that characters can have such a strong afterlife, even with a lot of inactivity. They're still very memorable.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh, I love the little countdown. Yeah, people putting some extra flair into it.
Oh yeah. And to me, this feels like you made it.
Yeah.
They did a really good job.
Cool.
That's good stuff.
I think like stick figures are so like just naked by themselves, right? And there's such a big silhouette that any little thing that you add to your character kind of amplifies that detail by like 100-fold compared to like full body characters. So like just the addition of like a fancy scarf and like a unique shaped weapon, I think that like really kind of stamps your character silhouette onto the community to make it like iconic. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I was like, Hyun, you would probably know or have a lot of thoughts on that, just because you've interacted with just about everybody. It seems.
I mean, yeah.
People in the community.
I think your character Nhazul is like the perfect example of that, because like if you just like, not even with color, if you just look at your character silhouette, it is insane. Like it looks so cool, you know. And on top of that, you like add your cool poses and like those really strong poses. It's just it's you can't not be inspired by that. You know.
Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. That's what I was aiming for, you know, with the whole character. So, yeah. I mean, I think back in the another touch on the Zetabrand was like back in the day, like I think we had like, you know, team mottos, the whole Stick Page Clan team motto thing, where it was like we were just like, you know, we had all these like brash, intense, like whatever. Like it was, I think we were trying to come on so strong with our style, like kept adding to it, and like it was off-putting a lot of people. So we had like, I feel like back in the day we had so many haters. Like this is
Really?
So many, dude. It was insane. Like I felt like I was always like defending myself on those forums, and, like because there was also like this thought that the kind of limited frame and all the style of animation, this is like old drama, dude, like a decade or so ago, but like that it was like the easy way out. Like
yeah, I was in it. Like, yeah, I heard people like talk shit about your style like all the time.
Yeah, like it's so easy. I'm like, dude, emulate it then, because I've seen a lot of emulations that aren't like, you know, like that don't really capture the essence of like, because like you could emulate it, but like you still need to have a really good sense of like animation, like physics and easing and like all the concepts to make it actually look good. You know, you can't just emulate it like that easy. And that was always one of my big gripes, is like, you know, just trying to defend myself.
I think what stemmed from that is like back then everyone was hyper focused on realism, smoothness, like easing, single frame animation, like getting everything super smooth. And then all of a sudden they just see these two Dragon Ball freaks like coming into their community with this super limited cartoony style, using these DBZZ sound effects and getting front page on Fluid Anims every time. So like they were like, yeah, like who is these guys? Like they're so different, and like all they do is just like shake the camera and then they just get front page. And like I saw like the culture shock in that, like what you guys kind of did.
For sure, man. That was a big era of Zetabrand where it's like, dude, you know, there was just it was weird. On
top of that, like you would see like these new users and their stick figures would always have like a new scarf on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like every new character would have a
That's
scarf.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what Stone was saying. Yeah, it seems like ever since then. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And the thing is like when you really boil it down, it's that the one group was focusing on animation in a sense of just getting those details right, but the net result, the clarity of what they were trying to do might have been lost. Like it could have been technically proficient, but sometimes the execution didn't view well, you know, versus with what you guys are doing, it's all about the clarity of the thing that you're doing, because it's like all emphasis on the movement. So watching it as a viewer, it's like you don't miss anything. Like everything is very, even if you're doing a bunch of hits, it's really abundantly clear what you're doing because the poses and everything are so clear, and you had such a grasp on the viewer's clarity versus the other animators. It's like they would spend so much time just trying to get the animation proficient, and then later they're like, then they would watch it and you're like, oh, actually you kind of missed most of it. If you have to like really dial yourself in to make sure you're catching everything that's happening. And I think that's the thing that they would kind of be jealous of, is like, oh wow, I thought I was doing so good and I was behaving so well, and then I play, not only is it over really fast, but I have this weird feeling of like, did you get it? Like I almost like explain the animation to whoever watched it, versus when you're watching a Zetabrand, it's, you don't have to, you can just set it right there, let it play, and the viewer's gonna know exactly what's going on. It's very, very clear. The clarity focus is tremendous.
Yeah, that's a interesting take. I mean, I totally agree with that. That's cool. I feel like we had to work really hard. Like I have to credit a lot of like my upcoming with animation with Tension. Like we worked hand in hand, honestly, like going back and forth, kind of like a rivalry, but not. But like what else can you add? Like, and he would add something. We almost had permission to like copy each other, or like at least like ad lib off of what each other was adding, and then until we created to what our animations become. Basically, it was like, okay, riffing off each other constantly, right? So, and it was cool to have an IRL friend in that, you know, to kind of build that a little bit.
Yeah, I wish you could have showed up in today's stream. That'd be really cool to like have his take on it.
Yeah, I'll have to talk to him sometime, see if he's interested. He's around.
Maybe we'll do it.
I mean, he's not animating right now, but
Follow-up episode.
every time I come back and like start animating again, he's like, all right, man, we'll see.
We'll get him, dude. We'll get him.
Yeah, we'll get him. We'll get him.
All right, shall we slide on into our spotlight of today's episode?
Yes,
I
should.
I chose the spotlight. I think Nhazul especially will appreciate this one. This is somewhat of almost like a demo reel from what it looks like. It's this animator showcase, Hexal. Now, I have only more recently seen Hexal stuff, but I went ahead and joined his Patreon because I wanted to learn some of the things he's doing. And I think that he has a mix of kind of a little bit what we've been talking about today, of like having good clarity of movement mixed with animation proficiency. And I think the combination of those two things is part of the reason why like he's blown up on Twitter. From what I've seen, is a lot of his posts do really, really well. But I figured this would be something that it's kind of that 2D junk food that I know I like, and I know that Nhazul likes. So
For sure.
Yeah,
I think you.
Yeah.
His animations.
We can talk over it, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I know. I've known him for a few years now, and it seems everything just comes really just naturally to him, and I don't understand it. He can come up with like the most interesting, clear, and fast choreography I've ever seen.
It's
you see a mix
incredible.
of you see a mix of his like his full body stuff in here.
I feel
His
like a lot
effects
of
are
the stuff
so
he does
simple,
is
but they
just first try.
Yeah.
His effects are really cool. They're really simple, but they bring about like there's so much power and force. Like, you know, you get a really good sense of motion with those like gray line stuff.
I like it that like he's not afraid to experiment as well, like with different things, different weapons, different style of effects.
It's
Like
all
just
over
with
the
these
place.
like those nunchucks blurs.
Oh my god!
I don't know how he did that, but it's
I'm
really
so
Kiana?
jealous.
The Kiana weapon?
His smears are always so
Yeah.
satisfying.
Yeah,
That's nuts.
dude, his stuff's sweet.
I believe he animated Alpha in this Stick Figures game as well.
Oh yeah, he
He's-
had
Wow.
he
some effects.
animated. I believe that was a collaboration between Pluto and Hexal. But yeah,
Yeah.
Hexal definitely
Oh,
had a
dude,
helping
this
hand
is
in
so
that.
cool.
Oh
The
yeah, I
side
love
thing
this
is
one.
nuts.
He was really proud of
Dude,
this one.
the air combos.
But like, I don't know. It's like there is such a great clarity to it. Like he'll pause. He's not afraid to completely pause and emphasize some, like right here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a
Mhm,
good
mhm.
blend of the two worlds that I think
Yeah.
that we've kind of gotten to, because it's like the community has just been from the very beginning. It's just building upon little ideas, and somebody would try something new, and then everyone would freak out and like, "Oh, you could do that!" And then everyone would be like, just rushing to figure out how to do that thing. And now over time, it's evolved to where it all has become like one amalgamation of, this like thing is built over time. Like look at this is crazy.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's nuts. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I know. Like I've kind of dipped my toes back in the community every once in a while, and I'm like, dude, it's insane what people have done. Like this is a good example. Like, this is really cool. This kid plays Devil May Cry because I can see a lot of them.
Oh, yeah,
Samira
yes.
too. The Samira.
I believe one of the most viewed videos on the dojo is a joint with him and another person, Jin, of a Devil May Cry. Yeah,
Oh, did he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I can tell,
I'm
man.
pretty
Because I
sure,
play
yeah.
Devil May Cry, and like, dude, I can see some stuff. Dude, Devil May Cry. It's like literally a stylish action game, and that's like, I mean, Zetabrand's like a love letter to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever seen it myself, but
And he's and the main character in Devil May Cry, he's like campy, but it's a little cheesy, but it's really cool. Like it's aware of its cheesiness and coolness. It doesn't try to. I don't know, it's good stuff. It's a good balance.
Yeah. Props to Hexal, man. Good animation.
Yeah, that was sick, man.
I love it. It's good stuff.
hell yeah.
So, Nas, you've still been working in the creative field, and I always love to hear that, because so many times you see people who are incredibly talented and they may or may not still be animating, but I always love when I hear that someone's still either animating or in the creative field. And you said you were doing graphic design all these years. Is
Yep.
there something that you do outside of your creative space? Like for us, it'd be, for others that could be watching, could be animation. For you, your graphic design more recently. Is there something you do outside of that kind of helps you be a better creative, be a better animator, a better graphic designer? Is there like another hobby that you have, something else that you do that you kind of can go to help you out when you're stuck?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, obviously I've done a lot of, I do freelance design. I do design in my day job every once in a while. I mean, I still play video games a lot, and like, I'm always inspired by that. And I watch anime from time to time, and like, honestly, like a good soundtrack, like I jam out to like anime soundtracks, or like metal, like and stuff like that,
yeah.
but more like Japanese, like game metal. And so I think like music and video games like really inspires me. Like every time I play like a good game, like an action game or something like that, I'm like, I gotta freaking anime, I always have ideas. And I think for me personally, and I know you're not like this, Stone, but it's like sitting down to animate, like, so I've had ADHD since I was a kid, and it's like everyone has it these days. I get that kind of stuff. But anyways, like I was medicated as a kid. It helped out, but then I came off it in like my mid-teens, and like I've been my focus has been crazy ever since. But it's always been hard for me to actually sit and animate for a really long period of time. Like I don't get my hyper focus that way. Like I can knock out someone's like e-commerce site or like huge design project in like a weekend. But like when I sit down to animate, like I have a hard time animating for more than an hour at a time. And it's like I have so much physical resistance to it, like mental resistance. I'm like, but it's like I love the end project. I love the reward of it. And I've heard Shuriken talk about this. Like he just, and he's just flat out said, he's like, I don't enjoy process. I think I don't want to quote, or I mean, don't quote me on the exact words, but okay. And I've always had a little bit of that where it's been really hard to feel rewarded in the moment, like during the process. And I get antsy sitting in my chair all day. And so, I don't know. I think that's been hard. But, I mean, to answer your question, Stone, it's like, yeah, games, music, stuff like that. And like, I've had so many ideas over this, the last decade. I haven't animated too much for ideas, and I've jotted them down in like a sketchbook. But I'd love to animate someday, of course.
What's crazy then is that you're actually truly really prolific then, because like if you're only animating an hour, 2, let's say max in a day, to get the things done, the things that you've created, it takes 2 parts to it. One, either you're incredibly consistent, you know, like you're really if you're only getting, or 2, in that hour, you're getting so much done or not actually having to revise too much because you're really staying in this style that you've developed that's really comfortable to you. That to me, that's really impressive. And that actually might, in all actuality, be the thing that is important to the process for your animations looking the way that they do, being able to take a step back, take a break from it. And when you come and sit back down, you have like a fresh mind. And maybe that has something to do with why the animations had such good clarity. It's because you're not just like dialed in and zoomed way in mentally to where you forget to zoom out and take a look at what you're actually making. You know, I'm curious to see if there's any correlation to that, because I am, like you said, I'm on the latter. Like I can sit here and animate for like 18 hours straight and I'm like giggling the whole time.
Dude. I envy
which is
that. That's so cool though.
It's great. I'm not always like progressing forward, but the thing is like I think that in certain moments my clarity then suffers from my animation because I'm so dialed in to just doing the work that I'll take a step back and be like, oh, actually kind of looks like dog water, even though I spent like 4 hours doing that. I probably just could have looked at that a lot sooner, you know? So maybe those breaks is something that
no, there is a lot of
the process.
I would say it's like hyper reflection for sure, like on what I'm making, because you know, I'll sit down for that hour and I'll get a couple hits in, and I'm like, I would say I'm a medium speed animator. I'm not like super fast, but I'm not really slow, is from what I've seen other animators. But I am a perfectionist in a lot of ways though. So it's like I do redraw a lot of frames just to get the right poses right. But in between, I mean, I'm a little more, I would say in between the poses, I'm a little more flexible, but it still has to look good, right? Like, you know, I'll redo the whole section if I have to, just like any animator, of course. But yeah, and then like I'll, you know, finish those 2 or 3 seconds, and then I'll replay it like 100 times. Think about it, mull it over for a few days, and I'm like, oh, that's not good enough. I'll come back a few more days later, you know. So there's a lot of that, like reiteration, until I'm satisfied with the cool factor, I would say. So like if it doesn't look cool, I'm like, I'm not publishing it.
It's not worth it. Exactly.
Yeah, for me anyways, like if I'm not happy with it. So definitely has some perfectionist tendencies in there. And you know, I'd say the downside to being a perfectionist when you're animating, of course, and I'm sure a lot of people know this, but it's like it's hard to finish projects because you get so stuck on things. But yeah, I
think I'm the same as you, Nhazul, because like the process of animating for me is like dread, you know.
It is, man. Like it's really hard for me mentally.
Opening up a big project and like trying to get started is like the biggest hurdle for me.
Yep.
But then eventually, once you get like some frames down, and then like you start, it starts looking good, is when I start enjoying it.
Yep. Same. Yep. You get a little bit of time warp at some point, right? Like.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Have you guys ever had any? Have you guys ever had any days where you're like, you start working, and you do not take any breaks until you're done?
Yes.
Yeah.
That is very very rare though.
I do that.
I haven't really done
think
that with
every
animation,
time,
but I do it with other projects.
It's an actual problem for me, dude. I'll lock in, and then I'm like,
that's a problem for you though. Yeah.
I'll Control S and save, and I'm like, all right. And I'll stand up and I'm like, okay. And then I the real world zooms back in. And I'm like, oh, my back! Oh, my legs! Oh my god, I have to pee! I'm so thirsty! I'm so hungry! Like my all just rushes in all at once.
I'll have such intense sessions of like tunnel visioning and hyperfocus where I oh my god, I had this with the original Boogie animation where I started that like as soon as I woke up that morning, and then I didn't take. I think I took one bathroom break, but I didn't eat like the whole day until like 2 a.m. the next morning when it was done.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
My
great,
body will physically stop me sometimes. it'll do that where I'll grab my pen and I'll start to do. I'm like smiling and I'm like gonna do blood effects or something, and all of a sudden I go to do a brush stroke and it's like I am in the moment. I think my smoothing has changed, but realistically it's because my hand is just wobbling. And I'm like, oh, my body's falling apart. Okay, no, my settings didn't change. I'm just like up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down as I'm trying to like just get a regular brush stroke going. So yeah, it's a real problem.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think right now, like I'm limited with my daily schedule, like for most days, like especially Monday through Friday. Like, I wake up, I work, I hang out with my kids, I put them down, family stuff, and then I have, like I said, 3 to 4 hours per night. And so, like you said, Hyun, like I think the most important thing for me is like I write it down. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna animate for 15 minutes minimum. And that's not a lot of, but
that's what I do.
You started. Yep, that's not a lot of time, but it usually ends up being 45 minutes or an hour.
Yep.
But I'm like, this is on my literally physical checklist on my notepad. I have to do this 15 minutes. And so I've been actually calculating time that my animations are taking me. Like, I think that last one took me like 6 or 7 hours that I posted on Twitter, which is, I don't know, it was like, was it like 15 seconds? But
bruh, Nhazul, you and me are bonding right now because these two guys with their insane focus and like I don't know how they do it, because when I do it, I have to muster up so much strength just to finish something.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm right there with you.
Oh my god, give me a hug right now.
I can make that happen.
You'll get off.
Yo, wait, hang on.
That actually brings
Get your
point,
mouse
though.
off my body.
Hang on,
Stop.
No, I'm doing it. It's happening.
It's happening.
Set in
There you
go.
go.
It's
Hey, yo.
Out of my crotch, man. Come on. All right.
That actually brings up a good point, though. Like with a lot of the oldies, we're now oldies coming back to the community. What are some of the challenges coming back from a long hiatus? You spoke about, like your time constraints. Is that one of the more difficult things? How has it been actually like animating? Do you feel comfortable?
Yeah. So, I mean, it actually doesn't feel that bad to me, just because like I said, I can't animate. So if I have like 3 or 4 hours a night, and like the most I can muster is like 1 hour or 2 maybe.
Mm-hmm.
That's enough time for me probably per day. If I have the ability to obviously animate for 8 hours straight, like I don't think I physically could, but I would like have, I don't know, like I'd be like doing backflips out of my chair, man. I just couldn't do it. But yeah, it's like I would say that isn't too bad, but I don't know, like when you get the itch midday, like, when you're working or with like hanging out with kids, like, and like I think that is a little hard, like to have to force it to those 3 or 4 hours when I'm like, okay, I just got done with a long day. I want to play a video game or watch something. I'm blitzed. I'm like mentally and physically blitzed. I think that's the hard part about the time constraint, but there is also a little fact that like I'm rusty as hell. Like I've been trying to warm up a little bit, and it's like I said, when I sit down and animate, I'm like, this is fucking hard. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I can swear, but like this is really hard.
You're fine.
No, you can't fucking swear here.
Okay. I wasn't sure what the policy was, but okay.
You did.
But yeah, it's like it's hard, man, and it's like it's hard. It's really fun. And I love doing it. And I love being creative in it, but and there's a little bit of an intimidation factor. Like I talked to you a little bit on Discord, Stone, where it's like, okay, I'm a boomer animator. Like not really, but like I'm an old animator. Like like I'm primarily 2D, right? Like I'm not super good at doing all these like hyper views that all the more recent animators are doing, and I'm like, I think it's a little intimidating, and also it's like, what else do I have to offer that hasn't been done? You think about that a little bit, but at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, well, whatever, dude. I'm just gonna have fun with it and animate what I've had in my sketchbook and try to finish some projects and warm up. Yeah, I think those a little bit the time constraint and probably a little intimidation.
Yeah,
but I love how you're like standing right in line. Yeah, you're standing right in line with your 2D, man. Like your recent animation was sick. So
I had so much help, dude. I honestly, it's a testament to how critically important community is, because I know for a fact it wouldn't be anywhere remotely near as good. That is not only the art and animation, or the art that was done in it, but also like having people around while I'm animating has been really important in the VC, and I've genuinely got a tremendous amount of feedback that was absolutely critical to how it came out. Like before, like I feel like whenever someone would post something in IRC or something, we'd be like, hey, I want like C&C, right? It was like constructive criticism. And almost never, and no one ever gave constructive criticism. It was either, oh, I love it so much, or it's, you should ease in and out. Like that was like it. Like there was no real constructive criticism that improved things. But I couldn't have done it without the people just embracing me coming back. And I think that's really cool because I had the same issues. Like it took me like 2 weeks of really sitting by myself animating to prove to myself that I could do it, and to get over that hump of intimidation of like what is something new that I can even begin to provide or even showcase, that it isn't already infinitely lapped by how incredibly impressive so many people are. You know, it is daunting. So I can absolutely relate.
For sure, agree with that.
I like I like how fast you kind of.
Sorry. My
Oh.
bad.
Oh, you're good. I like how fast you've kind of integrated yourself within the new, quote unquote, new community. Because I know, I'm like when you were coming back, Stone, you were talking to me about how you were a bit worried because, like, you know, there's so many new people now that don't really know the older generation of stick animators. But now, like, it just took a couple of weeks to just sit in the VC while you're just animating. And you're just a part of it now, which is
Dude, that's crazy though. Stone, just to say that about you, man. Like you're such a community person, and like honestly to subject yourself to that much like feedback and criticism is like a skill set in its own, right? Like to take that and like actually do something with it. Because I'm not a big community person, and I admire that. You know, that's super cool. Like, and like you said, you know, you went head first in. You're like, I'm helping with the social, like, you know, like you're like streaming every day, and it's crazy, man. And like obviously what you've produced in such a little time with.
Dude, I am literally the same way too. Like, I know people say I'm a community guy, but I literally am not a community person. Like, I'm so introverted, it's not even funny. But like
I'm a little that way too.
Yeah. So it's kind of tough for me to do what Stone does, because I feel like it just comes naturally to you, right, Stone?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm in my element, and I think that's a really, really key important part of it. And the fact that I try to remind people that I'm actually really genuinely, and I know it might seem strange to the people here, but I'm actually really shy. I'm very introverted, and if I was in a room, you wouldn't even know I was there 9 times out of 10. Honestly, the reason why it's distinct for you, because you don't see that version of me. You see the version of me because these are my people. This is who I want to be around. This is the thing I enjoy doing. So you get an unfiltered version of who I truly am. And I think that resonates with a lot of people, because that was the one thing I think that I found out years ago, and even coming back now. And the reason why I'm in the VC is that I want to continue to inspire people that are here currently. And I want to show them, like I did back then, that they are so much more talented than they truly can understand. But I also wanted to be able to be the vector, and this is the thing that I think that I can do now, and the spot that I can fill, is be the vector to bring back people who were once here, and to show them. And I'm doing that by just being completely vulnerable in the VC, showing what I'm working on, showing people that I'm struggling, because I know I can't obtain this, honestly, in a lot of ways, larger than life expectation that people potentially can have, that they just heard about me and they started animating 5 years or 6 years after I stopped. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I know I can't ever obtain or be the thing that they might mentally build up for what I could be. But instead, I'm going to go the other way, and I'm just going to be completely vulnerable, and I'm going to show them that I'll be like, man, I suck. I don't know how to do this thing. Can you help me do this thing? And I think that is a superpower in itself. And I think that that's the thing that I fit in now. And I think that's the important thing for like Nhazul or people that are coming back, is that I'll jump right into the pool and just be like, oh, okay, like he's a normal guy, and he also struggles in these animation field or struggles with these things too, and I think that lightens the load, and it also shines a light for more and more people to kind of come in. You know what I mean? And I think that's really, really important, and I think that's truly more than anything else, more than the things that I'm working on. That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
Very well
cool,
said. Yeah,
Love
I
it.
agree.
Yep.
Yeah.
So any of you oldies watching right now?
I'm coming for you.
That was a good time to come back. You know what I'm saying?
I'm
Come
coming
back.
for you, dude.
We're having a renaissance.
Come back, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
So we got some art coming up, right?
Absolutely.
We have a couple pieces today.
Art
Our
features.
first feature is from Patata. It's me. Patata. It's me. Nailed it.
I love the water, dude. I've never
Look
been
at
able to do
that.
water and to where it looks good. Like obviously the poses are sick, and I love like the beach party that they're having, but like that bottom right hand corner and like of the water, somehow it looks drinkable. Is that weird? It's like it looks like it's a drink. It looks like it's.
It looks
Delicious.
refreshing. Like
It
I drink
does.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I've
looks
noticed like on
tasty.
Twitter or X or whatever, it's like there's so many stick artists that do amazing stuff with
Yeah.
basic characters. I'm like, I'm blown away, dude. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, you're like,
Yeah.
it's like stuff like it's like took on its own life, right? Like stick figure art on.
Yeah, like they're just
Literally, it's
professional
amazing.
artists at that
They,
point.
they
dude.
are, dude.
Yeah.
It's floored me.
Yeah, this is great. I mean, it looks
Incredible.
super.
Like the color palette on this is insane. Like
Mhm.
it's crazy how they can just come up with this kind of color palette and make it look really good like that.
They're so important too because they've kept a lot of these characters alive, and more than just keeping a lot of these characters alive, and it's brought so much more depth to them over time. You know, like putting out these little art pieces for these characters, whether it's their original OCs or OCs of the past. It's expanded their reach, their universe, the like perceived lore about the characters, just from artist to artist, putting out things that look this good.
Wait, can the audience see it? The art?
Yeah, the audience can see it, or they should be able to see it.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's just me. My bad.
Okay.
Oh, don't
Yeah,
freak
Patata
out
to me,
like
very
that.
cool. Ah!
All right, this next piece is by Stickly.
Stickly killed it on this dude.
Seems
Yeah, that's
familiar.
sick.
So this is a background for an animation or Stone's animation.
Yes,
Right.
this is the Andre's arena for this season's Underworld is what I'm calling it, where he's like essentially in the Nether. But Stickly, in my animation, you can't see all of the detail, and even in this, it's so detailed. There's so many Easter eggs throughout this.
Yeah.
As these animations get released, you're going to see more and more of it. But he did an incredible job. Like he has the mural in the front that you only get to see a piece of here. He has
fluid
Easter
animals
eggs all over the
logo.
place. Yeah, I know, dude. The Easter eggs are everywhere in this, and the details of like the magma rock and the huge alpha in the background. It's stunning.
Yeah.
So cool.
He
Super awesome.
used to be a background artist for Alan Becker too. So
That's
I think he
true.
learned a lot from working there.
You know what's funny is he's like, yeah, I'm not really like a background guy. I don't do that. My backgrounds aren't that great, but I can try.
And he just knocks it out of the park. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
love
there,
how
I see him in the
how
chat
it
there,
relaxed.
Stickly. We see you, little bastard.
Stickly. All right. A final one for today is by Snatcher.
Ooh.
I said it right this time.
Very cool. 4 to 3. I don't.
Yeah, exactly.
Very
Just
cool.
like
I like the
snake.
snake eyes, like snake eyes, cat eyes.
Yeah.
Is
Is
that another
this
character in the background?
It is a
This
snake in the
does
top right,
remind me
right?
of murder drones. I don't know if it's a reference to that though. Probably not.
I don't know
but
what that is.
You don't? What?
Sweet.
Are those
Digital
cards?
Circus.
I don't.
I don't.
Ugh.
Yeah, what is that?
Is this like
Okay.
a character, like a duelist or something, or is it like just? What's that? Or is it
I
just?
don't know.
I have no
Okay.
idea.
Are we just reviewing art in general? I didn't.
Yeah,
know
we're
this
just
one.
reviewing.
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
we're just looking
cool,
at
yeah.
some like community art, essentially.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Could just be the
Yeah,
OC, yeah.
yeah,
Gotcha. Awesome.
yeah. That's
Very
cool.
good art, though, guys. If you want your art featured in a future podcast, join our Discord in the description and post your art in the art portal section of our Discord.
Sounds
Right?
Perfect.
Yeah.
All
Thank you
right.
for the art, guys. Really
Well, we've been going for about a little over an hour now. Should we move on to some questions?
Yep. Wrap it up with some Q&A.
Yeah, we've been, our buddy Sareth has been gathering some of your guys' questions in chat. We're going to hop through them, but first we got a $5 donation from Yang. They said, "What's good, Nhazul? Love your stuff, man." And they want to know what inspired you to start animating.
Yo, how's it going, man? Appreciate it. Obviously watching anime and stuff growing up, and then like stumbling into it with like some games and wanting to do it myself. It was more of like a discovery of like, oh, I can make, because I grew up drawing, right, like sketching, stuff like that, and then having access to a computer at an early age and like just like, whoa, I can make this move. This is like the coolest shit ever. So definitely a lot of like the obviously Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that growing up, and then kind of finding the realization that I can do it too. For sure. And then,
Dude, the original Dragon Ball Z era, when we were all watching it for the first time, was insane.
dude,
Oh yeah.
there's nothing like it, man.
Yeah.
It's hard to
I
describe
would
it.
rush home from like grade school, like to my couch. I'm like, yo, mom, get me home. Like, I don't want to miss this episode. Like, no grocery store, no errands. We're going straight home, dude. Like,
Oh man, that's crazy.
because we couldn't, and it's crazy because back then, it's like I couldn't DVR it or anything. At like
If
5
you
minutes,
missed it,
I
you
freaking
missed
missed
it.
it.
Yeah.
I'd have to like,
Yep.
because back then we couldn't even. There wasn't like what were the early ones like LimeWire and like Kazaa and stuff like where you could download it or rip it. But it's like you couldn't even do that back then. So it was like you just missed it.
Yeah, it's awful. You missed it, dude.
Then your friend would be telling you about it the next day.
Yeah,
Like,
you're like, I don't know, man. I wanted to see that.
what a time! What a time! Yeah, for sure. A lot of my anime inspirations and stuff.
Let's go.
A 9-panel wants to know from Nhazul, what advice do you have for a beginner animator?
Ooh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. I would just, just admit and realize that animation is really hard and try your best to have fun with it. Like, I would play to your strengths. Like, my strength is not sitting down and animating for a really long time. So, like, I have to put structure in place. Like, okay, I'm going to animate for 15, 30 minutes. Do it, hold yourself to it. And then often, getting over that first hump, like Hyun was saying, like, it breaks that barrier. But, just figure out what parts you like and just try to go for those. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Man, like just I poke around YouTube and watch like anime and stuff or like fight scenes. Like you said, Hyun, like I grew up watching like Drunken Master, Jackie Chan films.
Yeah,
like,
let's go, dude.
Tony Jaa stuff was awesome when it was coming out.
Tony Jaa, let's go.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, and so I love Ong Bak. But anyways, like
On Bach, let's go, dude.
right, dude. I just started naming off like 50, but yeah, like I don't know, like stay inspired by the stuff you love and then stuff that got you into animation, whether that's games, art, movies.
Amen, brother.
Yeah.
Amen.
Great advice.
A little loser named Shuriken255.
What the hell, dude?
Shuriken.
I know, I'm
I
kidding,
love
I'm
you,
kidding.
Shuriken.
I love you, Shuri.
He's a Zetabrand member.
I have another question for you, Nhazul. Are you planning on finishing your demo with redesigning weapons?
Oh yeah. Yeah, man, I've put a lot of pressure on myself I have one in progress, but it's like there's stuff that needs to be reworked because I've reworked stuff in the process. But yes, it's like one of my top 3 for sure. And it sucks now though, because like I came back 2 years ago, I did some some weapon animation. Like I have so many new ideas that I'd almost want to scrap it, but I'll get it done, and then maybe we'll make a V2.
What's this about redesigning weapons? What does that mean?
Well, no, I had a couple of versions of like one of the swords that was way different. Like it was like, in the cross, he has like a bow staff, 2 daggers, and a katana. I at one point I had a great sword in there for some reason,
so cool.
and like, but now I have an idea where it's like, it's gonna be sick, dude. Where it's like, the bow staff comes out and it turns into a huge hilt, and then the cross goes up and it turns into a massive like Omega broadsword attack.
Oh my god, Transformers.
Yeah, Transformers style.
That's
there's
so
some
cool.
Yeah. Anyways,
That's cool.
for sure. Yeah. What's up, Shuriken?
All right.
Good to see you, man.
Winged Anomaly wants to know, how did the idea of creating Zetabrand come out? How did Nhazul and Tension choose who joined, and how did they choose what the whole style was going to be like?
Yeah, Tension and I, we created it kind of like I talked about. We had a style in mind, like, and we held tryouts, right? Like, we're like, okay, we want people to match the intensity, like the kind of. I'll keep going back to like a Dragon Ball style because that's kind of what most of the community references it as. But the Zetabrand style, and we had a vision for it. I don't know, dude. Stone, you did amazing with those RHG clans and stuff, like, and everyone kind of created their own thing, and it was like everyone had their own flair and style. But
Bro, we have to bring those back. We have.
So good.
dude,
They're so
sick.
good, dude.
Yeah, and then we held tryouts, and like honestly, it's like if someone matched kind of like our flow good enough, it was, there was a handful. We vibed them out a little bit, and yeah, it was. We've had, I don't know how many members total, probably like 9 or 10 years, like back in the day. Dude, our members did their like there was, like I said, like some really sick shit. So
Yeah.
really good stuff.
All right. Akidox wants to know, how do you pick good poses, and what makes a cool pose, and what is the essence of making an iconic design for stick figures?
Ooh, very nice.
Posing is hard. Like you got to know it's cool. Like, I mean, I think that's just more. I don't really know how to explain that one. Like, if you think it looks cool, like, it's like, I grew up watching, Jackie Chan do a really sweet pose, or Tony Jaa, or like, it's like, or like Goku. It's like,
Yeah.
it just looks right. Like it definitely.
It's a feel to it.
Yeah, there's a feel to it. There's an essence to it. It has to be. You have to be standing correctly with your legs braced, or it's like it has to look, natural, but also cool. I mean, yeah. So I think that's just like studying and like watching and kind of feeling it out. Yeah. And what was the second part of that question?
Yeah, they want to know, like, how do you make an iconic design for a stick figure?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Hyun touched pretty good on that too. I think it's like, having a second, like, stick figures by themselves are pretty plain. So it's like, if you're really wanting to have an iconic, I would say try to have a secondary piece to it. I mean, that seems pretty popular these days, obviously. But then, yeah, put some thought into your weapon, and like one that you'd have fun animating that could be creative. I mean, I'm sure there's a ton of RHG/duelists, and every weapon's been done in some form. But I mean, I've had ideas that haven't been done. So I could probably create 2 or 3 more that are pretty sick. But yeah.
I'd say like just try to just make your stick figure just like without color, just make him black, and then have him stand with the weapon and see if it's an iconic silhouette that people can resonate with. I like that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Because people do that with just character designs in general, like in the industry.
Yeah.
That's good. That's a really good point.
Is it stick figure with sword, and does sword look like other sword? If so, it's not very iconic.
Yeah.
So, to boil
stick
it down.
figure is gonna look like other stick figures, so.
Yeah, but then if you have like stick figure with massive hammer, that's Andre. Stick figure with party hat, that's Hyun.
Yep.
Right.
So
Random Peruvian wants to know, what's your favorite video game and what aspects you love of that game?
My favorite video game series as a whole is Monster Hunter.
Oh, nice, dude.
That's good.
I mean, Capcom is a master at game design, in my opinion. They obviously make Devil May Cry, which I'm a big fan of. As far as like pinpoint precise action, like, I mean, can't go wrong with Capcom, right? So like Monster Hunter, like I've played with Tensions for like over a decade. Like I started playing on PSP, like the PlayStation Portable.
Let's go.
I had like Freedom 2. And so we would like get out of high school and like just go chill on our couch and play Monster Hunter together. And so I've been playing it, that was a long ass time ago. So, but yeah, I love Monster Hunter, like the weapon designs, honestly the combat, like the difficulty at higher levels.
What weapon do you main in Monster Hunter?
Great sword. And
I love Garage PT.
Yeah, great sword and then light bowgun. But yeah, man, I love Monster Hunter. Like the progression's so cool. They've come a long way. But yeah, good stuff. I've put hundreds of hours in it. But
Nice.
Wonderful. Lamations wants to know what your favorite DBZ character is.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. Probably Vegeta. Yeah, I would say Vegeta then Piccolo. I mean, I love the anti-hero kind of character style and stuff like that, but Vegeta's sick, man. He's
Yeah, I love Vegeta. I'd take Vegeta over Goku any day, man.
for sure. Yeah. I've always
Screw Goku.
he's just such a like aloof and kind of like fun, I don't know, happy-go-lucky character, but it's like a little too aloof for me. But he, when he gets serious, it's pretty cool. I've always loved Vegeta. Like I just think his brashness and like I don't know, like he's always trying so hard. He's always trying, and I love that. Like he has so much grit, dude. It's good stuff.
Yeah, and he has a lot of flaws, which makes it interesting. Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I love Vegeta and how he screams.
Oh yeah.
What does he do?
Yeah.
he screams, and I like
He does
the way
Galley Gun. He does Galley Gun, right?
I've never seen DBZ.
I like the way he has hair. I think very hair.
I think, yeah, I love the way it spikes. No,
Yeah.
I'm just clowning because I've never seen it. But
I mean, it was an early version of anime, so it's like there's simpler characters. I mean, like there's been animes since of such in-depth character work where it's like, Dragon Ball was really like a shonen battle animation, so it's like, but they did. I mean, Toriyama did a good job developing him the way he wanted to, and so
Yeah,
classic for sure.
Mm-hmm.
all right, I'm gonna try and couple these two together. But Dragonil Dreamy asks, what do you think of the new duelists as you're coming back into the community? And Nine Panel wants to know what your favorite one is.
Yeah, so when I don't really know. I don't know much about the duelists. Like I literally hopped back in a few weeks ago and I saw there was like some badge thing, like or like some ranking for like, and I kind of poked through that and like I kind of poked through the duelist, but I don't know any specific duelist offhand. Again, I've always been a little bit on the fringe of the community, meaning like the outside, like a little bit just kind of doing my own thing. So
who's your favorite RHG then?
My favorite RHG?
Yeah.
I'm a little biased, but I I would say Tension, but like, like it's.
Let's go.
If I didn't say that, I don't know. That's a good question. One of my favorite animators back in the day was Lil DZ. I don't know if anyone knows him. But
Lil DZ.
Dude, he only had a handful of animations, but I was so inspired by him. And I think there was another animator who came out who's kind of like Tension's underling, Super Saiyan Outphase. He did like that Falcon Punch animation that got really popular on Newgrounds back in the day.
Yeah, I think I remember that.
But yeah, I just loved his style. Like he would do things, and this was like, dude, like 2000. It was really early, and he would do things like get away with stuff. Like like how did you not draw his leg? And then all of a sudden, he didn't do his easing wasn't great, and his power was really good. But like his limited frame and his posing again was really simple, but it was like so effective that I was like, I have to know how to do this, and so he was an early inspiration for me.
Really cool.
So there was a topic that we were going to talk about, and there's another question in here that is related to that topic. So we'll just touch on that real quick, and then I'll ask this silly little comment. But now that you're back, what are your future plans with the community? You want to continue Zetabrand, start something new? Have you given it much thought?
Yeah, I would use the word back loosely, like always, but it's like I'm trying to be back. I'm trying to get back at it. Obviously, like again, I have a limited schedule, but it's nice having Stone. Like I talked to him quite a bit, so it's like he's always grinding on it, and so I think
on the bridge.
He's a little bit of a bridge for me this time around. So, yeah, I'm not exactly sure what my plans with the community are. I don't think there's any current plans for Zetabrand. I know that's always been a thing ever since it's kind of went under, but yeah, I mean, I'm kind of interested in checking out the duelist things, but I think the most important thing for me right now is to warm up a bit and then try to finish my unfinished projects. Like I would say 2 or 3 of them for sure. and just release them. You know, like it's one of those things the last decade where it's like they've haunted me a little bit. You know, like my unfinished work haunts me, and I don't like when I can go 2 years without thinking much about animation, and like that folder is still like, you ever gonna complete this, man? Like what's going? You know, it's just so. I think that's my main goal right now, and then obviously trying to be around on Discord. I've popped in the streams here and there, so that's light plans so far. We'll see.
Hey, like just you being in this episode of Dojocast is like, that's like a huge step for me. Like I appreciate you being here. Like that's
man,
that's
cool.
That's like the biggest step.
Yeah, and like honestly, dude, yeah. To me, like Stone and Hyun are like such OGs, so like it's fun to be back chatting with us. So.
Thanks, man.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for coming, man. Yeah, like Hyun was saying, it's so cool to have you here, and you jumped right in for this too. You know, so I love that.
Yeah, this is my first podcast, first stream. Like I haven't never done this, so it's been fun.
Let's go.
Well, thank you for coming. We do have one more question. The question that was attached to the last topic, you kind of already answered, so we'll just get past that. But last question is for everyone. Solomon Fox wants to know what we would suggest a small animator to do to make money on the side.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good question.
Commissions sound like something most animators go for.
It is. If okay, so here's one thing I found is you have to think a little bit outside the box, starting off early, and you would be surprised, even if you are younger, you know, not necessarily like a child, but you know, if you're like 15, 16 years old, you can still do commission work for people, especially in the field of small business. And what I mean by that is, you may not be animating a stick figure fight for somebody, but I can promise you that there is a lot of companies who just need a little bit of things tweened in and out, like, you know, image to image tweening in and out for like a banner animation. There's a lot of like small animation work that you can do for small companies that would love a resource. So I would say find, like, you know, especially if you have someone in your family that has a business, just let them know that you can animate some stuff. And if they have some social media stuff that they need done, it may not be super fun, you know, as far as like, it's not like going to be a stick fight or anything like that, but getting your foot in the door and just building rapport with some local businesses and doing small animation work for them, it can go a long, long way.
Yeah, that's a really good point, man. Like I remember doing flash banners on the side for a company at one point, just like doing like little ads, you know, and like it's not flash anymore, but like your animation skill, like improving your animation as much as you can, and that can translate to like logo animations for small businesses, like you were saying, ad animation. And I've done that. Like I'm in marketing right now, so it's like I do ad animations, I do email animation, you know, it's like I do a little bit of animating here and there, and that there's so much crossover with like motion graphics, right? And that's a huge field. So I would say anything in that too. Yeah.
Animation as a skill is actually genuinely really rare from what I've experienced. One of the more rare things to find.
People don't understand the concepts, for sure. And then, you know, there's some good spillover into like, you know, stuff like video production and stuff. Like, as you become a better animator, you'll get better at like scene work and like, kind of naturally makes you a little bit better at that kind of thing. So.
I'd say like a good side gig is like making an account on Fiverr and just offering your services there. Or even if you know how to do like, I don't know, like I know there's a lot of indie game companies that are looking for assets and stuff. So if you want, you could make like a quick animation pack or an effects pack and then sell it on itch.io. I know some people that do that. Just anything where you can just kind of post your animations and in a marketplace that's designed for it is a good place to start. And I think the most important thing is to just try to get as good as you can, like skill wise. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if your work is not quality, then you're gonna have a difficult time finding opportunities. So
and the inverse is true. If you're extremely talented, it's going to be very difficult for you to beat people away with a stick, for you to decide on the thing that you want to do the most and who's going to pay the best for you to do it. So leveling up your animation skill is going to make that second part a lot easier.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah, this is the part that we're really good at, and this is the end of the episode. The only thing we don't have mapped out at all.
This is planned. We never planned this. You think we'd have planned it by now?
Nope. Episode 7, the now longest running podcast of all time within Hyun's Dojos. And we haven't figured out just turning the hitting the off button. We're not really good at that part. But Nhazul, thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah, dude, good chatting with you guys. Yeah, this is super cool. I didn't expect anything like this, so it was super chill. Love to do it again in the future, maybe on episode 42 or something, or
that's right,
down the road. Yeah.
Hey, if you finish anything, we can cover it, man. We can
absolutely
cover it here. Okay, cool.
Follow up stream, dude.
Yeah, I'll have a few shorts coming out, and then once I feel comfortable enough with the Wacom, I will probably start working on my bigger projects and hopefully get those released. So
cool,
wonderful,
perfect.
Yeah, man.
Stone, you're wrong.
Am I wrong? Why am I wrong?
You're wrong because this is not the longest running podcast within this community.
I thought 7 was the record.
For the Dojocast, yes.
Well, I said, oh.
You see, I had a test podcast before this. And that was mostly within this community, and it went on for 17 episodes.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's actually insane. 17 is nuts.
So yeah.
Ain't nobody know who Animacast is anyway.
No one knows. I would rather forget it entirely, but I thought it was funny.
Damn.
No, Animacast is good.
It was a good practice test for podcasts. Think of Animacast as pre-new Dojocast.
No, that's great.
I feel like you did a good job, Hatena, of keeping things in order at the time. So nice work, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Round of applause for Hatena.
Oh no, let's not do that. I hate too much attention. You all of you did fine. Let's end this professionally now.
Okay. Bye, guys. I'm gonna keep saying bye.
See
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Wait, hold on. Wait, don't end the stream.
What?
Wait.
All right, you can end the stream now. Oh my god.